It's the summer of 1963. Two young men first meet when they find work sheep herding for the summer on Brokeback Mountain, a fictional picturesque setting in Wyoming. Ennis Delmar, Heath Ledger, is age 19, engaged to be married in the fall, and aspires to someday running his own ranch, following in the footsteps of his parents, who died in a car crash and left young Ennis and his brother and sister alone to fend for themselves. Jack Twist, Jake Gyllenhaal, is about the same age and dreams of becoming the greatest rodeo cowboy alive. Both feel essentially alone in the world. While sharing a cowboy's back-breaking workload, facing the toil and troubles of the weather, shortages of food and wild animal attacks, their working friendship eventually develops into something more. Breaking Joe Aguirre's, Randy Quaid, rule that one man must sleep with the sheep and one at the camp, on one night after an evening of heavy boozing and shooting the bull, they end up sharing the only tent, just to avoid freezing. The bitter cold leads to their sleeping spooned. Jack, who of the two seems more wired for attraction to other men, and more conscious of his leanings, initiates touching. Ennis, who is engaged to be married, seems truly naive with respect to Jack's intentions as well as his own responses, yet eventually responds to Jack, releasing his own loneliness, fear and pent-up rage into an almost violent physical passion of rough sex between them. Over the next several days, the two increasingly give in to their passion for one another, building a lifelong bond. Both men eventually come to acknowledge and understand the irreversible of their bond, even if they do not both entirely accept it. When the summer ends, the two men separate and continue with their lives. Ennis marries Alma, Michelle Williams, and she soon gets pregnant and gives birth to two daughters the following year. Jack, by contrast, is still drawn to other men, and remains unmarried until he meets and after a drunken one-night stand, has a son with feisty rodeo cowgirl Lorene Newsom, Anne Hathaway. Lorene's father owns a legitimate money-making business selling farming machinery in Texas, but Jack is never accepted by Lorene's family. Searching for acceptance, approval, and unconditional love, Jack writes to Ennis. It is revealed here that the year is 1967. It has been 4 years since they met. They arrange to meet again. When they finally do secretly reunite in Wyoming, Ennis and Jack are overcome with emotion and passionately kiss. Ennis makes a weak attempt to be discreet, but the kiss is seen by Alma, who becomes sickened by it. One can't help but feel sorry for the two men and for Alma as well. From this point on, Ennis and Jack's relationship rebuilds and develops even more deeply. Alma becomes increasingly suspicious about the men's frequent fishing trips up to Brokeback Mountain, and eventually Alma and Ennis divorce in November 1975, with Alma getting custody of their two